The sound of ripping fabric echoed down the empty hallway, sharp as a gunshot and the kind of quiet that makes your skin crawl. I was standing there, a piece of my white shirt dangling from Ethan Bradford's clenched fist like some kind of sick trophy, his eyes blazing with that rich kid entitlement you can't teach or beat out of someone. Trust me, Ivy, you've seen enough of them to know. Behind him, his football goons had their phones out, grinning, recording every second, convinced nothing bad ever happens to people like them at Westbrook Academy. You think you can fail me? Ethan hissed, taking a step closer, breath hot and sour, like he was daring me to flinch, to break, to even blink. Do you have any idea who I am? You know what's funny? In that second, I realized this was the moment I've been waiting for. I didn't cover up, didn't move, just locked eyes with him, calm, steady, the kind of look that makes even the loudest room go quiet. And suddenly, all that laughter behind Ethan died like someone flicked a switch. I leaned in just a little, whispered one sentence, one line I'd planned weeks ago, and watched the color drain out of that boy's face like a sinkhole opening under his feet. For the first time, the infamous Ethan Bradford, the same kid who'd run off 7 teachers in 3 years, looked scared. Really scared. But let me back up a sec, so you know how a nobody like me, Isabella Reyes, the new teacher, the diversity hire, ended up right here, facing down the Prince of Westbrook in his own kingdom. For weeks earlier, I'd walked through those mahogany doors, head held high but heart hammering. 28 years old, barely older than some of the seniors, brown hair in a no-nonsense ponytail, face just forgettable enough to blend in. Principal David Bradford greeted me in his officia place that smelled like old money and new secrets, if you know what I mean. "Miss Reyes, we're delighted to have you," he said, smiling the way predators do. "You understand Westbrook has its traditions." I nodded, keeping my own smile light, my mind working overtime. That Rolex on his wrist, worth more than my first car. The special soundproofing on the doors. The security cameras aimed just so, with curious little blind spots. All the signs that said this place protected its own. I pulled out a penordinary on the outside, but inside, recording everything, every syllable, every innocent threat. "Of course, Principal Bradford," I said, "I believe in systems." And he smiled, satisfied, never noticing the way my eyes clocked his locked filing cabinet, the layout of his kingdom. First real run-in with Ethan. 3rd period AP Lit. He strode in late, that Letterman jacket draped like armor, his friends trailing behind, laughing too loud. "So, we're reading more dead white guys?" "How original," he called, and the whole class sucked in their breath. They'd seen this show before. Ethan would push, teachers would break or walk, and the administration would cover his tracks. But I just kept writing on the board, turned around, and smiled. "That's an interesting perspective, Ethan. Maybe you'd like to lead a discussion on power structures in literature. Or would that require reading?" His friends gaped. He bristled, jaw-clenching. "I don't need a book to understand power, Miss Reyes." So I tilted my head. "Then you know how temporary power is when it's built on someone else's foundation, like a principal's job that depends on a clean audit." The whole room froze. Ethan went quiet, unsure if I'd just threatened his dad or made an observation. After that, he started watching Meckloser, and I watched back. I parked my little Honda as far from the cameras as I could, ate alone, eyes always on the door. Teachers whispered warnings like Mrs. Peterson, chemistry, 15 years, be careful with the Bradfords. The last one who failed him, well, she doesn't teach anymore. I just smiled, filed it away. She didn't know I'd already pulled every teacher's records who left Westbrook. The pattern was ugly and clear. Ethan escalated first disrespect, then snide comments, then cyber attacks. An Instagram account with my name and face, fake photos, sleazy captions, tagging the school. Most people would have panicked. I just screenshot everything, traced IPs, cataloged it under EH21C, a file built for court, not a principal's desk. By the second month, my car was vandalized. Red spray paint, ugly slurs. "Shame about your car," Principal Bradford said, not bothering to hide the smirk. "Maybe Westbrook isn't right for someone like you. Someone who doesn't understand how things work." I replied, playing along. "Your son failed to turn in 60% of his work." What he did submit. Plagiarized. I've got it all documented. He glared. Are you threatening me? I'm educating you, principal. That's my job. He didn't like that answer. I knew I was being watched now, Ethan's crew following, taking pictures, logging my every move. But what they didn't realize was I wanted them to. At night, my little apartment transformed, laptops humming, monitors flickering, files spreading across screens. Behind a thrift store couch, state-of-the-art surveillance gear, courtesy of Uncle Sam. See, I was never just a teacher. A coded call came one evening. The package is developing. Phase 2 ready. Just need physical evidence, my handler replied. Don't worry, I said. Teenage boys are predictable. Next day, Ethan corners me in the supply closet, friends blocking the door. You're not bad looking, Reyes. Maybe if you were friendlier, those grades would change. I just stared. I suggest you step back, Ethan. Or what? Run to Daddy. He laughed, and I slid past him. Easy, muscle memory from a life he'd never imagined. Your father's embezzlement of $2.3 million might keep him busy soon. He froze, eyes wide. What did you say? Just thinking out loud about corruption in literature, I said, smiling sweetly. That was the moment the seed of real fear was planted. After that, Ethan unraveled in the field, at home, everywhere. His father yelled, scouts watched, the pressure built. Meanwhile, I kept giving him chances, documenting each failure, each threat. At 60% through my timeline, I ramped up, fired up the legal software AI, powerful enough to make the FBI jealous. It mapped Principal Bradford's dirty money, shell companies, offshore accounts, a decade-long scheme siphoning cash meant for kids who actually needed help. Ethan's car, clothes, privilege bought with stolen futures. I set the stage for a showdown a Thursday, after class, almost everyone gone. You just out to get me because I called you out for what you are, he sneered. And what am I, Ethan? And nobody who thinks she can change things. Some things don't change. I smiled, gathering my things. You're right. Some people don't lose, they just haven't been caught yet. I walked out, knowing he'd follow, hallway empty, security cameras conveniently broken. His crew appeared: Marcus, the linebacker, Derek, the realtor's son, Kyle, rich and mean as they come. You can help yourself to a job somewhere else, Ethan threatened, getting in my face. Is that a threat, Ethan? It's a promise. And you made a mistake talking about those numbers. I smiled. Maybe I'm just good with numbers. Your GPA, for example, 0.8. A family record. The rage in his eyes was perfect. He lunged, grabbing my shirt fabric, tearing, buttons flying, his friends recording. I didn't flinch. I just looked him dead in the eye and dropped my bombshell, calm as a surgeon. Cayman National Bank, account 447B, X9, $2.3 million. March 15th, your father's login, IP 192.168.1.154. There's more to video files on the school server, folder named Insurance, your father and Miss Blake. Very comprehensive. Time-stamped. Ethan's grip slackened, face gone ghost white. You're lying, he whispered. I reached in my jacket, slow and steady, flipped open a leather wallet, FBI, badge glinting. You're right, Ethan. I'm not a real teacher. Undercover, for months, Federal Crimes Division. And congratulations, you just gave us assault on a federal agent on camera. Tiny cameras, previously invisible, blinked to life around us. Oh, and when the school security fails, the pros bring their own. Sirens grew louder outside. His friends backed away. Marcus dropped his phone, panic spreading like wildfire. Ethan stayed frozen, world crumbling. My dad will destroy you. I checked my watch. Your dad's probably being arrested right now. We've had agents in place all morning. That school board meeting? Surprise grand jury indictment. Black SUVs screeched into the parking lot, agents pouring out, practiced, efficient, moving like a well-oiled machine. Some stormed admin offices, some blocked exits. Ethan stared at me, tears streaking his cheeks. Please, this will ruin my life, my family. I felt a flicker of anger, not pity. Your future was bought with money stolen from kids who needed it. Maybe it's time you learned what real consequences feel like. Another agent cuffed him, firm but not cruel. Assault on a federal agent, academic fraud, you name it. I'll make sure Stanford knows the truth, Ethan. As they let him away, I called out, turns out Stanford hates plagiarism and federal crimes. The hallway filled with law enforcement, investigators everywhere, taking statements, gathering evidence, cataloging every little piece of entitlement and corruption that had run Westbrook for years. Principal Bradford came out in cuffs, expensive suit wrinkled, face like thunder. "Ethan, don't say a word," he barked, but the agent cut him off. "You have the right to remain silent." That night, after hours of debriefing, I stood alone in the parking lot, the building behind me crawling with crime scene techs. Westbrook would be closed indefinitely. 12 arrests, more coming. I got in my Honda, took one last look at the school, and drove away, phone buzzing with a secure message. Mission accomplished. Well done, Agent Reyes. Next morning, the headlines screamed corruption scandal at elite prep school. Ethan's mugshot everywhere. But I was already gone, apartment cleared, fake ID retired, just another shadow moving on. 2 weeks later, a young woman with auburn hair and a new name Sarah Chin introduced herself to the staff at Riverside Prep, 1,000 miles away. "Welcome, Miss Chun," the principal said, nervous, expensive watch flashing. His son, another predator in training, watched me with interest. "We do things a certain way here," the principal said. "I'm counting on it," I replied, my hand checking the recorder in my pocket, a small smile playing on my lips. Some predators wear Letterman jackets and hide behind family names. But sometimes, justice shows up disguised as a quiet teacher with a badge, and a Promisino bully is too powerful to fall. So, what do you think, does that count as justice? Or just another story of power eating itself? Go ahead, tell me in the comments. Right or wrong when is enough finally enough?